Your Subway sub of the game tonight, brought to you by Subway Restaurants, is Sam Logwood. Sam comes off the bench for the second consecutive night, and Sam, we know we had the leave of absence. That was about 10-day period there where Sam missed the New Mexico State game as he had time away from the team to collect his thoughts. Had a great chance to talk with Sam earlier this week, and he said he's ecstatic to be back, and most importantly, thrilled that his teammates were ready to welcome him back. He is your Subway sub of the game. Subway Restaurants keep you going on and off the court. Stop in today. Subway, eat fresh. Sam, 13 points. He finishes with a total of 9 rebounds. Check it, 15 points and 9 rebounds for Sam tonight. 15 and 9. He goes 5 of 14 from the field. 0 for 1 from 3. A perfect 5 for 5 from the foul line. Of the 9 rebounds, 5 for offensive side of it. There was that great sequence where he had 3 consecutive offensive boards. He had an assist in 29 bench minutes. Logwood is your Subway sub of the game. All right, time for us to pause on the Lobo Basketball postgame show. New Mexico 78, Rice 69 is the final. It's Lobo Basketball from Learfield. Welcome back on the Lobo Basketball postgame show. Live from Dreamstyle Arena, New Mexico 78, Rice 69 is the final. Okay, it's time for the State Farm Insurance assist of the game when teammates help each other out. Great plays happen like this. Drives the left baseline. Kuiper score. No, he's going to stick it out here. And there's Chris McNeil knocking down the 3 right in front of the Lobo bench, and a beautiful feed by Kuiper. So there it is, your State Farm Insurance assist of the game, presented by State Farm. Get an agent that gets you State Farm. Lobo 78, Rice 69 is our final. We pause. Lobo Basketball postgame show continues after this. Lobo Basketball from Learfield. Welcome back inside Dreamstyle Arena, the pit, as New Mexico has defeated Rice here tonight. The final score, Lobo 78, Rice 69. It is time for our post-game coach's comments with Lobo head man Paul Weir. And first off, congratulations, Paul. I know it's been a little bit coming here. The 4-game losing streak is over. You guys get a much-needed win, and I imagine the locker room was a lot better tonight. It was a great locker room. We're excited to get a win and kind of get our spirits going again.
Coach, congratulations. Looking at the start of the game, there was a little shakeup with the lineup and kind of threw me off. I didn't realize we were going to start 2 freshmen, and it seemed like Rice got off to a better, but it seemed like they were the aggressor.
Sure.
To start the game. Your thoughts about the lineup and how you guys started the game?
Yeah, no, right now our starting lineup is predicated on deflections and your defensive effort. And at the end of every game, we kind of chart those, we put them on the board, and those are the 5 starters for the next game. I don't know if it necessarily was great for Vlad, but it was definitely great for Joe. It might have been a little bit of a wake-up call, which if that's how this works, that's what I want. Defense is important to me, and starting is important to them. So if we're going to merge those two, we're going to find out who wants to play defense, and at the end of this game, we're going to grade it out, and that's who's going to start against Prairie View. And it's just going to be as simple as that. We've got to find a way to become a better defensive team. I feel as though with our talent and with our scheme and with how we're playing together, if we can score on Arizona, we can score on Rice, and we can score on a lot of teams, we have to find a way to defend the basketball in order for us to be a good team. And the only way I can do that is to take things like starting, which is important to them, and make that about defense. It isn't about seniority. It isn't about being in my office more than anybody else. It isn't about who recruited you. It's got nothing to do with that. It's about how you play defense. And before this year is over, we're going to play good defense. And that's just one of the tools we're using right now to hopefully teach.
Starting the game, Rice got off to a good start just shooting jump shots.
Yeah.
Your thoughts about the defense?
I told the guys at half, Rice was up 8 against Ole Miss with 2 minutes to go before halftime. They were close with Texas Tech in the first half. Their style of play with just kind of grinding it out in the half court and playing the zone, particularly at the start of games before people get into a flow, they've started all their games well this year. Pretty much all the ones I watch, like it's going into halftime and it's like, geez, this is a ball game. And then in the second half, I think a lot of teams finally kind of get into a rhythm and get into a flow. And we talked about that at halftime. There were some things that we needed to fix, which we did. And I think those that coupled with just getting into a better rhythm kind of helped us out.
You think style-wise, you think they imposed their style more so than you were able to impose yours?
You know, I thought the kid Lester 11 was really good in the first half handling our press. And, you know, he was as steady as a point guard as I've seen here really since BYU, as far as just a kid that could get through the press, handle it, get their offense set up. So in the second half, we really adjusted our defense, and we kind of got out of what we were doing, and we tried to just deny him the ball. So we weren't necessarily going out for turnovers as much as we were trying to just get them out of rhythm. And there was just a lot of possessions there where we just denied that point guard as long as we could and allowed other guys to facilitate offense. And I think it just got them out of rhythm. And we just kind of said, you know what, let's just worry about stops and getting them out of rhythm as opposed to just trying to keep continually getting turnovers. And really, I think it was big. It was really big for us. They shot 34% in the second half, and we were able to kind of get the stops we needed. Our defensive rebounding wasn't great, but overall, we got just enough stops to kind of get the job done.
Just looking at the box score and thinking that this one reminded me of a couple earlier in the year where you got the better balanced scoring. And I was asked earlier today, actually, you know, who could be a person that steps up and is a guy that can be relied upon from night to night. And I said, no, I think it's more about this team getting a couple of guys. And it doesn't have to be the same ones, but tonight you had 5 in double figures, and it feels like this is more what you're looking for.
Yeah, for sure. I thought we had great offense in the first half, and I thought we had really good offense to start the second half and finish the second half. I thought through the middle part of the second half, there was just a lot of standing around, and I don't know whether it was the moment again, and we started getting deja vu of here we go, this is a basketball game, but we just seemed to kind of like almost not want to impose ourselves on the game and let the game kind of play out. And we were just standing a lot. And then finally we talked, and with 3 minutes to go there, Chris moves without the basketball, gets the wide open three-pointer on the backside, and that was the ball game. And we just lost our movement there, I thought, for 5 or 6 minutes. We were turning the ball over. We weren't getting good looks at the rim, and they were going down and getting better looks at the rim. And we finally settled in, and that was refreshing to kind of be in that little muddy area of what's going on right now, and then finally push through and get a win. Because we haven't done that in a while. We've been in that moment, and we missed the 1-and-1. We've been in that moment, and we haven't made the shot. We've been in that moment, and we didn't get the stop. But Sam makes the 1-and-1. Chris makes the open three. We get the stops. And we haven't done that in a while. So that is encouraging. I think the losing took a little bit of a toll on us, and I just sensed it tonight. And we got to get our groove back. We got to get our mojo back, and hopefully this will be a good step for us.
Yeah, that's a great point. As much want to as you have, the confidence can erode. That can happen. I would rewind it even farther back, because there was a 3-minute and 18 stretch where you guys didn't make a basket from the floor, and we talked about the last 5 minutes from this past weekend against Arizona with no field goals, and then Dane made a beautiful post feed, a high-low. The high-low seemed to be great for you all night, and you got an and one.
Yeah.
And I thought that kind of helped everybody relax, because it had been a while since you'd scored from the floor.
No question. And I think we talked a lot about trying to play inside out, and I think when we were good, we did, and we were able to get the ball inside and play out of it. There were times there I thought Sam and Joe, didn't make great decisions and struggled a little bit down there, but for the most part, they did what they needed to do, and we just have to continue to work on that going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like in the first half they were settling for jump shots, and then you had a little talk at halftime.
Yeah.
Second half, guys were pounding it inside, and you look at your bigs, between the two of them, winding up with 32 points.
Yeah, no, and you have to give Rice credit. I've watched a lot of their games this year. And in the first half of games, they played you well. I mean, they were up against Ole Miss by 8 in the first half in Vegas. They were at Texas Tech the other night, right there in the first half. Like, they start games well. They're excited. They know their zone. They're fresh. A lot of teams are playing a zone for the first time and getting their feel for it. And that's just how Rice has started a lot of games this year. And I'm not going to say I knew that was coming, but it wasn't going to surprise me if it did. So we talked about that at halftime. Hey guys, this is them. Just stay the course, keep working, keep grinding. Eventually there'll be some openings. Eventually we'll get some stuff.
And that's what I was asking about the style, because it seemed like that them imposing that zone defense really kind of...
It does. It makes you think, no matter how much you try to not think about it and say, guys, let's just play, let's do this, let's do that. everyone since going back to high school. They see a zone and they think differently, and it just puts a different thing in your mind. The good thing about us is because we have shooters, we've been pretty good against zones this year, and we haven't had an issue with any zone. We had a little bit of an issue with a 1-3-1 against Tennessee Tech, but that wasn't really a traditional zone. That was more the trapping and the length that bothered us. But any kind of just basic zones we've seen, we've actually been able to execute really well.
I asked Hunter about this, as great a scorer as he was, and I said, when you were having a little bit of a shooting slump, what did you do? And, of course, the answer was, I would just pound that rock, get as hard to the rim as I could, and try to do something inside. And I thought that what Troy Simons did on Saturday against Arizona, even though he missed 5 threes, he got his points, he got to the line where he was 4 of 4, he scored 12, and he was fearless against 7-footers.
Sure.
And to me, that is what happened tonight. That he opened up tonight by what he did on Saturday, and here you finally saw him get the 3-point field goal stroke going again, and I still feel like the sky is the limit for Troy.
I agree, and I don't know if I said it here or somewhere else, but Brandon Mason was talking about Deshaun Delaney, and it was like middle of December when it just finally started to click, and I'm just hoping that Troy's getting on that cusp. He's a very talented player. His steal numbers are off the charts.
I was going to ask you, is he your deflection man for the night?
He's unbelievable.
I mean,
his ability to impact the game defensively is impressive. His ability to finish on a break. We get a lot of turnovers, but our issues right now is we don't have a ton of individual players that can really go finish in transition and get above the rim and always make it. We miss a lot of layups. We miss a lot of bunnies. But Troy's a guy that can go finish on the other end.
I see that. When he gets a steal, he should just take it
exactly
all
right.
the way to
and he can.
Yeah.
But we don't have a lot of guys that can. That's just the reality of it. And God bless them. They're trying, but Troy's one of those guys that can. So he's just such a potentially valuable piece for us. We need him to be a core guy, and hopefully that's going to come here at some point.
I was talking with the Rice announcer before the game started, and he asked me, so who are the guys that can really knock down the threes? And I went down the roster, and by the end, it was 7 guys. And I said, no, legitimately, that's the truth. And then, the guys that didn't shoot it well coming into tonight, or hadn't been, Troy Simons and Chris McNeil both shot it well tonight.
Yeah.
It feels like a little bit of a collective weight was lifted. I think.
No, I talked about it after the game. I mean, basically what happens is, those guys are shooting great percentages. Dane's percentages aren't great. Dane gets open looks. Now Dane goes makes 6 threes. Now they're worried about Dane Kuiper, and now all of a sudden Chris McNeil gets shots. So that's team basketball. That's how it works. You know what I mean? Last time Sam doesn't get a lot of points because everybody's double teaming them, whatever it be. Now they're worried about shooters. Now Sam gets to go one-on-one. It's just that's what team basketball is all about. And I really feel that with our scheme, with our spacing, with our players, we're going to be able to score the basketball. We just have to find a way to consistently defend for this to be a good basketball team.
I need to ask you, do you think that we might, by Friday in Prairie View A&M, have a resolution on Connor McDougal? Are we coming closer?
That's a great question, and I wish I had something for you. There's just a lot of layers to it. It isn't as simple as just redshirt or not redshirt. There's some other things we've kind of discussed, and I want to make sure it's the right decision. I would rather not rush into it and say he's back or he's not back, and then a week later we change our mind. I'd rather just be 100% definitive on it. After the Arizona game, I think we were pretty close, but we've both kind of done a lot of thinking since then the other way, and we're just sorting through that. And I've told him I don't want to rush this decision. He potentially could play, and he's really, really close, but it's not like it's absolutely imminent. And every day he gets rest is better for him anyway. So we'll hopefully have a resolution sooner rather than later, but I'm not in a rush to do it right now.
Sam spoke with the media for the first time since he returned to the team yesterday. Has he been exactly what you'd hoped since he came back from his leave? Has he been where you wanted him to be since he got back and active on the team?
I think so. Sam's a hard guy to read because he's such a quiet kid, and he's not exactly Mr. Personality. You're going to have to talk quite a bit to get stuff out of him. But our interactions have been really good. We had a couple interactions here tonight in the middle of the game. We've had a couple interactions over the past few days. And, I'm just going to keep teaching and keep loving and keep trying to, get him to come through. And I've told him that I'm not, he may want to push me away, but I'm not letting him. So I'm just going to keep coaching these guys as best I can and hope that at one point everybody buys in and we just have a really fun ride here this year.
Congrats on the W.
Thanks,
we'll see you Friday night.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir, our coach's comments post game. Final timeout. We come back to wrap after this. Lobo 78, Rice 69. Final Lobo basketball from Learfield. Back on the Lobo basketball post-game show. Lobo 79, Rice 69. Excuse me, 78-69 is your final. A 9-point win. Got 9 on the brain. 9-point victory, 78-69 is the final. The Lobos defeat Rice. Okay, time for the P&M Reliable Player of the Game. He didn't start tonight, but he had started every game prior. But the game changer tonight was none other than Joe Furstinger. 3-2 zoned. Lobo lead is 5. Beautiful lob to Furstinger. He scores an ace foul. Great find by Dane Kuiper. There goes the 3-18 drop without a field goal. Chance for an and one. Yeah, that was a beautiful pass by Kuiper and a fabulous finish by Furstinger. And that was the field goal that I was talking about with Coach Weir just a short moment ago that broke that scoring drought of over 3 minutes. Joe Furstinger, the P&M Reliable Player of the Game, delivering reliable energy to you 24/7. We're committed community partners, and we're adding cleaner resources, including more solar and wind energy, and we're working to build a strong, sustainable energy future for New Mexico. Talk to us at pnm.com, where you can manage your account and learn how to save money on your electric bill. We pause on the post-game show. Lobo 78, Rice 69. Final Lobo basketball from Learfield. My broadcast partner is Hunter Green. I'm Robert Portnoy. The Lobos have knocked off Rice 78-69 to snap the 4-game slide. And Hunter, you felt like a different lineup tonight, created a little bit of a sluggish start, but then the Lobos settled in and ultimately pushed out to a 9-point first-half lead. They led by 5 at break, but were able to stretch to 12, as many as 12 in the second half, and then they were cruising to the tape there at the end for a 9-point win. But you feel like there's a continuity issue at the start of games?
Yeah, I mean, especially tonight. You could tell that the Rice Owls came out as the aggressor just because the Lobos maybe were just a little flat because of the shakeup in the lineup, in the starting lineup. And when you look at the stat sheet, those starters, Pinchuk and McQuatch, and I mean, these guys really didn't do much, didn't play very many minutes. And Mathis, yeah. I mean, I didn't even realize he started. Yep. I mean, I don't think he even scored.
It's his first career start, too. Not just his first start this year, but his first for his career. Pinchuk made his first start as well. Malawatch his third. Both of them are true freshmen. So you're right. And they none of them even reached 20 minutes of court time.
Yeah. And in between the productivity in terms of points scored, you look at the bench points, 62 points, because those guys who should have been starting, in coach's mind, probably, didn't, and maybe they got the message. But I think it created a little sluggish start for the Lobos, and if this is going to continue, because he's still trying to get his message across that defense is what they're going to play first. It'll be interesting to see how, especially as you go into conference play. Typically, you want to establish your starting 5 going into conference play, and now we're still.
We've got one non-conference left, and it's still moving parts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he was very clear in our post-game interview that the starting lineup is a motivator,
yes,
and that the defense is the number one thing. And he felt like it did inspire Joe Furstinger tonight.
Yeah.
Joe's first time out of the starting lineup the entire season, and Joe has a career night. 17 points, career high. 12 rebounds, career high. Previous 11 and 11. So when you look at it from that standpoint,
but the question is, how many deflections did he have?
So we'll find out with the starting lineup next game, right?
Yeah, I get it, and I see what Coach is trying to do. And defense is what he's looking for, and it doesn't matter to him who starts, and so what matters is they play defense, and like he said, to his point is they care about starting, so that's the motivator.
And on your side, 4 of the 5 bench players reached double figures. So that tells you a lot there as well about how motivated they were. The Lobos had 5 in double figures. Furstinger led with 17, 15 apiece for Logwood and Simons, 13 for McNeil, and 10 for Kuiper. The Lobos had a big rebounding night from Furstinger, 12. He had 17 and 12. Logwood was the 15 points, 9 rebounds. The Lobos made 9 threes, 4 apiece for McNeil and Simons, as they shot 9 for 31 from 3 tonight. Not the benchmark number of 40. You said when they hit 40, they win.
They win, yeah. But when you look at the other team, they only shot 23% from the 3. So, that even though they knocked down some threes, I still think the Lobos are still struggling from the 3. And a lot of that could be the rhythm, the continuity, guys subbing in and out, the starting position, starting 5. I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with how guys are shooting the ball from the 3.
Well, one interesting thing, in the end, the turnovers numbers were the same, But points off, the Lobos did a lot with the ones they got, and they outscored them by 9 in points off turnovers, 21-12. And that's part of what Coach Weir's trying to create, right?
Yeah, points off of the defense.
Yes.
Scoring off of defense and using that full court pressure to create offense.
Okay, J.J. Buck has the Overtime Call-In Show coming up on our flagship station, 770 KKOB, also available on the FM dial at 94.5. Michael Carlisle is my on-site engineer, and I want to send him a big thank you. Zach LeCour was the man who produced things for us in the studios of Learfield in Jeff City. My broadcast partner is Hunter Green. I'm Robert Portnoy. Hunter, it's Prairie View A&M, and it's coming up quick.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday night. It'll be the final one before the Christmas holiday on Monday. Prairie View is here at 7 p.m. Friday night. Our airtime 6:30 with the Bank of the West pregame show for that one. Okay, that's going to do it for us for tonight. The Lobos end the 4-game slide. New Mexico improves to 4-8 with the win. Rice drops to 3-9 with the loss. The Lobos defeat Rice. Your final score for the final time tonight: New Mexico 78, Rice 69. Good night, everybody. You're listening to Lobo Basketball from Learfield.